up, Bulls Nation, and welcome in to CHGO Bulls Podcast, brought to you by PointsBet. Don't forget to use that promo code CHGO, y'all, when you sign up and live your bet life. What's going on? I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. You can follow him at BAWS Sports. That's Will Gottlieb. You can follow him at Won't Gottlieb. Follow us at CHGO_Bulls. All right, y'all. So, 5-game skid.
Yes.
I still haven't quite shaken off that Embiid beatdown from last night. However, Bulls have a winnable game in front of them.
Yes, they do.
But before we get to that winnable game against the Pistons tomorrow night, we have to talk about the thing that everybody's talking about, which is 0-14 against the top 3 teams in each the East and Western Conference. There's the perfect sound effect
well done.
to describe exactly that. Guys, Billy Donovan had an interesting thought about this after last night, their most recent loss, saying that maybe this team, even if they are fully healthy, just aren't quite there yet. I believe we have a graphic of that quote from Billy Donovan post-game. There it is. Maybe this team, even if we are whole against some of the elite teams, maybe we're not there. I don't feel that yet, but I do feel really good. These guys are getting better and competing, and that was via Casey Johnson of NBC Sports Chicago. Speaking of getting whole, we did just get some updates about 15 minutes ago before coming on about those 3 magical names that Bulls fans keep wondering about. Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, Patrick Williams. Will, let's start with Caruso because it sounds like maybe he's getting really, really close to a return here, but it's still I'm still hearing doublespeak. We haven't heard any dates about anything.
It seems a little murky still. Joe Cowley and Casey Johnson had some updates prior to us going live here saying Alex Caruso, Pat Will, and Lonzo flew back to Chicago today for individual workouts. Caruso and Williams have not been cleared for contact practices until their bone scans are done. So they're going to be looked at by specialists. It seems like that is trending in the right direction, but at the same time, all we've really heard for them today is that they flew back to Chicago. So take it for what it is, but hopefully trending in the right direction.
And then, Big Dave, when it comes to Lonzo Ball, we just got an update from Casey Johnson about a half hour ago. Ball hasn't started lateral running or cutting, so his potential practice clearance projects to be later than Caruso's and Patrick Williams. I can't remember where, but I could have sworn last week we saw an update from somewhere that Lonzo Ball had begun with cutting and lateral movement on that surgically repaired knee. So, question mark?
Don't know. We're just guessing. We have no idea, but that definitely was out there.
The only lateral movement we saw from him was him like running around dodging his daughter.
Yeah, that's right.
Video.
Adorable video, by the way.
Very adorable.
Yeah.
I think I said this last night. I'm always skeptical with the knees. We went through a lot in the last 10 years or so with Bulls players and their knees. You might need to neuralize me for that, but
I got you.
Let's make sure he's right before he comes back.
Right.
Don't want to rush things. And get too worked up about this 5-game skid that we're on here. Yeah,
and I think he's right. I think Lonzo is going to be the one who is going to take the most time. Even if he's cutting laterally or not, it's still, I think, going to be that 8-week, kind of thing. Whereas, as you said yesterday, when you're dealing with the wrist, it's a little more manageable than you're dealing with a knee. So, and knowing how Caruso is, knowing how animated he is. Remember, he played with that wrist when he injured it. When they play against the Bucks.
Can you imagine playing an NBA game with a broken wrist?
Yeah, he still went out there draining threes. He still was an active basketball player doing that. So I can just imagine him being the first one to get back because that he is just that competitive guy and he sees what's happening with the Bulls and he knows where he's needed and he can't wait to get back there.
Chi-Town Bobby asking, does cleared for contact mean they will start right away, or does that mean a few days away?
In my head, it means start them now.
Well, so cleared for contact to me means you can get in a couple of 5-on-5 practices.
Correct.
But we also know that NBA teams are practicing less and less these days, not just like these days compared to NBA eras past, but these days of March getting into April, when your primary concern is getting enough guys as close to fully healthy as you can for a playoff run, and that taking priority over getting in a practice.
True.
So maybe when it comes to any of these guys, Caruso, Lonzo, and P-Dub, cleared for contact means, all right, in you go, and we won't necessarily worry about getting you practice time.
Yeah, and again, even in those names, as far as being cleared for practice, I'm still going with Caruso. Maybe more so over Patrick Williams because his wrist injury was a little more severe and what he had to deal with. So again, I don't mind him taking his time, getting acclimated to the team and things like that. But I think it's just really all about Caruso and as far as who's going to be back first and who's going to be the one to provide that impact immediately.
And the expectations for Caruso and Lonzo once they come back again, I want to reiterate what we talked about the other night is that Pat Will, 20 years old, has not put together a full season of actually being a super productive player yet. I think if he comes in and plays 10, 12 minutes a night and shows some flashes and finds his way into the rotation, I would be really happy with that. I'm not expecting him to be the guy when the Bulls come back. I'm much more excited to see Lonzo and Caruso together. And we can dive more into this later if you want, but I was just looking into some numbers earlier today and just trying to be optimistic, trying to find reasons to believe that when Lonzo and Caruso come back, the Bulls will be good. And that 5-man unit of Caruso, Lonzo, Demar, Zach, and Vooch has played 189 possessions together. Not very many, small sample size.
Yeah.
But in those 189 possessions, they have a plus 20.5 net rating. So we're talking about elite. And among lineups who have played as many or more possessions, that is top 8 in the entire NBA. So can't forget about how good those guys are when they're on the floor.
Yeah.
When we're talking about when exactly these guys will come back from these injuries and the fact that we're getting closer and closer, and it feels like a days thing now instead of a weeks thing, do you feel like context matters in that we got to get out of this 5-game skid? We got to start rattling off some regular season wins again to protect at least home court in the first round. Let's try to hold on to at least that 4 seed. Or does context matter the other way in let's not rush anybody back because what matters is the playoffs. And if we slip from 4 to 5, doesn't matter. If we slip from 5 to 6, doesn't matter. What is absolutely the priority is having them healthy for the playoffs. Where do you guys stand on that?
Healthy for the playoffs for me, even though I would say it's about 80-20. But healthy for the playoffs, I think, is what my main concern is. We've seen them when they've had their health. We haven't seen them 100% healthy because we never seen them fully with Kobe White or Patrick Williams on the floor with everyone.
Yeah, I don't think they played it all together.
Right, correct. No, they haven't, not at all. But with the 90% health that we saw, or 95, however you want to put a percentage on it, they were a damn good basketball team, man, and a really exciting one, and a one that we just couldn't wait to watch, and one that teams were having troubles with constantly. So I really want to see it whole, and I want to see it together, and I want to see it 100% healthy, then go out and attack. But part of me definitely just like, dude, I just want to get this going, man. Like, it's getting hard, because it feels good to say I'm not used to dealing with losing streaks anymore. Yeah, this is the first 5-game losing streak of the season. They've only had 2 4-game losing streaks. And
I believe only the 3rd losing streak of 3 games or more.
Right, correct. So it's not been the norm for the Chicago Bulls this year. And that is a damn good thing to say. So, yeah, but I want to see this team healthy with the playoffs so we can better evaluate that.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. For me, you're not going anywhere if you're not fully healthy. It would be great to have home court advantage, but I don't think it really matters if you go into a playoff series and, Lonzo, Caruso, Zach, any of those guys are not at their absolute best.
Yeah. Shout out to Love Music Video Art on YouTube who said, hey, you're live, but I've missed so much. Dang. No, you haven't. We're just getting started.
We're just starting, baby.
You've missed 10 minutes. We got 50 more.
Got more for you.
Anish on YouTube said, do you think when they're healthy, they'll go with Caruso, Zoe, Zach, DeMar, Vooch in the starting 5? That could work, especially given Ayo's development in an expanded role this season. So basically the question being, when Caruso's ready, throw him into the starting lineup along with Zach, Enzo, and DeMar and Vooch, as opposed to, when P-Dub comes back, throw him in there, as opposed to the Twin Towers look we've seen with Vooch and Tristan, as opposed to Javonte Green. Or would you rather still have that Caruso punch coming off the bench? Because guess what? Whether he starts or comes off the bench, Caruso's playing 30 minutes and he's closing.
True.
To me, that's what matters.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I've said this to you many times, Matt. One of the reasons I really love Billy Donovan is he is not beholden to any lineup. he'll try anything.
That's a great point.
You know,
yeah.
he's about winning, man. He's like, well, let's try it and see if it works. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it won't, but let's try it out and see. We've seen a myriad of lineups out there, man. Some we've liked, others we haven't. But the fact that he is about trying them and trying to do what's best for this team as far as, getting them to win, that's why I love him, man. So, yeah, it's a possibility you can see Caruso out there doing it. It's a possibility you see Javonte back doing that. He wasn't terrible this season playing the 4. He actually was kind of a revelation playing the 4,
I'm
man.
Javonte fan. I think he's earned the starting 4 spot. I like the way the Bulls play with him out there in terms of pace, just getting hands in passing lanes, deflections. He's super active. I'm a big fan of Javonte's. Mm-hmm. And to Matt's point, it doesn't really matter to me who starts. It's more about not only who closes, but what are the sort of rotations that Billy plays with throughout the course of the game. Is he going to that lineup that I mentioned with Caruso, Zach, Lonzo, Demar, and Vooch that has been so dominant in such a short period of time?
True.
Shout out to our guy Jamal from Bulls Central hanging out with us on
Mal.
YouTube. Oh, Obvious Shirts is in the building? What's
Hey,
going on?
what's going
I actually
on?
almost wore my Joakim Noah Cleveland Obvious shirt today.
Oh, where?
But, I wear a lot. I instead went with, Dennis and Jean-Claude.
Oh, how many times did you watch that movie, though?
Oh, dozens.
Dozens.
Yeah, I tracked down a VHS copy when I was like 9 years old.
Dozens?
And then I watch it pretty much every weekend.
Wow, man. Have you watched Double Team? Have you seen this movie?
It's been
a while.
It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
We're
Yes.
talking about older movies. I gotta
Great
rewatch. With Rocky last night. I gotta
Gotta get into it.
get to
man.
work.
Yes, sir.
Also, you poor people who have apparently only watched Mrs. Doubtfire the one
I
time.
saw it one time. It's a great movie.
Rewatch Mrs. Doubtfire. Rewatch Double Team. That's your
You guys were
homework
talking about
for tonight.
Frasier before we went on. This
Yeah,
right.
we're going back.
Gabe
All
Gallagher
they
on
do-
Frasier, you guys.
did.
Kelsey
All they do
Grammer.
is make references.
Kelsey Grammer's my spirit.
The
animal.
90s were a great time. Do we
Very solid time.
forget about
Very
Also,
solid time.
pretty great
in
time for
Bulls
Bulls
land?
fans.
Pretty good time for
Pretty
Bulls.
good time
Yeah.
in Bulls land.
That's true.
All right, so going back to this whole idea about the Bulls not beating top teams, Billy Donovan even saying, hey, maybe we're not ready for this. Maybe we're not even all the way there when we get guys healthy. I appreciate that comment from Billy.
Sure.
Because I don't see that as a coach moving the goalposts. I see that as a coach acknowledging the reality of where they are.
Yeah.
And, making sure everyone else acknowledges that reality. One of his newest players, Tristan Thompson, had an interesting different take after their loss to the Sixers last night when being asked about losing to good teams. Check this out. This was towards the end of what he had to say, and Will, you were listening in on that post-game Zoom with Tristan. Basically, he referenced playing on that Cleveland team a few years back that got swept by the superstar Hawks, right? The four all-star
Hawks,
including your twin brother Kyle Korver, and saying ain't no big thing. They swept us in the regular season. We swept them in a best of 7 playoff series, and ending that thought with we got a big 3 that's really fucking good.
Well, the question
It's going down, baby.
the question in between there was like, you guys had a LeBron.
Right.
What do the Bulls do? And that was his answer.
Yeah.
We got a big 3 that's really fucking good. And they do.
They do.
Yeah, but I think it's fair to say that as much as we're loving DeMar and maybe getting ready to see him finish top 5 in MVP voting, maybe if he has a little upswing again in the final stretch of 15 or so games, that's still not the same thing as 2016 LeBron, I don't think.
Well, sure. Not many things
course
are. But I like the fact that his mind state is there, though. That lets me know he is all about the team.
It brings everything that you've been talking about to this team. He's a goon.
Yeah.
He wants to play hard. He's going to be the one that is sort of the enforcer that's talking everybody up. So he's doing his job.
He's doing his job. He's as advertised so far, man, is what Tristan Thompson's been.
Shout out to TJ in the comments who said, "What's up, guys? I may hate Grayson Allen more than the Packers, and that's saying a lot."
That's saying a
Guess
lot.
What? You don't need to worry about it because they're all north of that Illinois-Wisconsin border, and everything north of that border is garbage. So hate away, hate them all. Hate them all.
I actually had the same question for you, Matt.
Yeah.
After the Rodgers news broke this morning, who would you rather, if you had to get lunch with one of them, spend the day with one of them?
Wow. Oh, wow.
Grayson Allen or
Dude,
A-Rod?
wait, just brace yourself for this answer is what I'm about to tell
You're
you.
phrasing that question as if it's like, which one would you be more willing to grit your teeth and bear it?
No, sorry. Which one would Big Dave have to physically hold you back?
See, there it is. Which one would I prefer to have the opportunity to do horrible things to?
Now
spending
that's a
afternoon
better
with them?
pet question. That's a pet question right there.
And I have to say, I mean, as much as I think Grayson Allen is a giant piece of shit, Aaron Rodgers is the clear answer. He's been torturing Bears fans for years.
I don't know. It might be Grayson for me, man, because of the dirtiness of what we see him do. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been trying to injure people and tried to take out Io with the knee, man.
You don't think Aaron Rodgers hasn't been trying to injure people?
He's injured your heart.
I've been immunized. No. Vaccines are dumb. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers never tried to hurt anybody. Get out of here with that nonsense.
Man, but Grayson Allen, that's what he's been doing since college. All right, that's just been his MO, man. This Aaron Rodgers thing is new. Like it took a global pandemic to realize, oh my goodness, yeah, you're terrible. So it was new, man, going with him. But he has definitely broken a lot of hearts among Bears fans, man. But Grayson Allen, man, he's really trying to injure people out there.
I don't think I have the emotional capacity right now to think about the Bears.
All that
smart man, Will is smart.
all that Russell Wilson to the Bears talk about a year ago. This time now
man.
he's off to Denver, and why? Because Rodgers is not off to Denver.
Oh man,
oh my goodness.
How's that your backup plan? Like, well, yeah, let's go get Russell Wilson. Damn.
Hey man,
that's awesome.
Peyton Manning won a twilight years Super Bowl in Denver. Russ is
I'm saying it's awesome.
Follow that same path.
No, I love Russell Wilson, man. It's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
All right. So before we wrap up this topic about the Bulls losing to the elite teams, what their coaches said about it, what Tristan has said about it, we've seen them get blown out by the Warriors twice.
Yeah.
We saw them get blown out by the Suns, even though the final score of that game was a 3-point margin. That was a blowout. The Heat blew them out earlier this season.
They did.
But that's when the Bulls were the COVID Bulls, and they dressed, 8 guys, half of whom are G League players.
The Dwayne Dedman game, as
right.
I call it, yes.
I think when you look at their losses to Philly, now 4 of them, there are 2 losses to Milwaukee. Like the East elite teams that we're worrying about seeing in maybe a second-round playoff series, I think the Bulls have kept almost all of those games close.
They have.
Winnable up until the end. I think the Sixers game last night kind of got away from them as that fourth quarter progressed.
Yeah.
But they weren't out of it when that fourth quarter started.
No, they were definitely in all of those games. That's true. And it does give you hope. Now, that could be a good thing and a bad thing, because some people can take that hope and say, oh, man, as soon as we get these guys, we're sweeping them. That's what's going to happen. But I think along the lines of, no, if we get these guys back, then I know we're not going to be 0-14, you know what I'm saying, against these teams. They're winning a couple of those games at least.
It's just a bizarre – I mean, you rarely see 0-14.
Yeah.
You win games here and there.
Yeah, true.
The Bulls have really taken care of bad teams and gotten taken care of by good teams. And that's just kind of a strange thing going on, especially with COVID, players missing games due to injury and COVID throughout the course of the season. So, I mean, what do you guys think? For me, even when healthy, I think they're a half step to maybe a full step behind some of these teams. The full step, I think 76ers, half step, the Heat, the Bucks, the Celtics maybe. I think they can compete with any of these teams, but it also is just about what are the expectations of this and looking at it through the lens of where did we expect to see them when the season started. One thing Tristan Thompson was saying last night in the press conference was the Bulls had a great start to the season. He obviously wasn't there, but teams are keying in on them now.
Yeah,
they're game planning. And this is when you have to start adjusting, when Billy Donovan has to figure out what works to sort of get on the other side of this. And, 5-game losing streak, got some winnable games coming up here, but there's going to have to be some adjustments that come, especially when the playoffs start.
And that's the best way you can show that teams are kind of showing their respect to the Bulls. It's because now you're game planning for them. Now you're trying to take away what they do best. Now DeMar DeRozan is seeing those double teams. Now Zach LaVine is seeing the best defender on their team guard him. Now Vooch, they're trying to take away what he does best, as far as the passing is concerned. So that's the respect that the Bulls are getting. And again, a lot of those players, including Vooch, have not been in this position to where they are the hunted. You know what I mean? And not the hunter. They are the hunted. They are the one teams are coming after. So this is new for a lot of guys on the team, man. And I think Billy is right in what he said earlier. He let them know, maybe we're not there, but, I think they're on the right track, and I think that we can become that kind of team. I like how he's telling you guys, it's like, we might not be there, but we're still working on it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we're trash out here. We're still working on it. We can get to that point. That's letting you know, man. I love that kind of coach right there that has that kind of honesty, because it's not throwing your team under the bus or calling them trash or anything like that. It's being kindly honest to them, but being harsh enough where they can take that medicine. You know?
That's exactly what he was saying after the game, too. Like, we need to look ourselves in the mirror here. And if I'm too worried about being disappointed or frustrated about a losing streak, I'm not spending my time trying to get these guys better.
Fact.
So,
Right. And this is a team that has already met their win total from last season, if I remember correctly.
39.
So you still have all of these games in front of you to improve upon last season as far as your win-loss record. And you still, knock on wood, assuming nothing goes absolutely horribly batshit crazy wrong, have an opportunity to play in, compete in, and maybe even win a playoff series to show yet another step of growth. And if you have to realize that you're not suddenly one of the top 2 best teams in the East, a lot of which those teams in the East got better along with the Bulls this offseason, that's okay.
Yeah.
That is okay.
that's a great point, too, because the Bulls beat the Celtics early on in the season. The Celtics are a different team now. They're playing at a different level. They acquired Derek White. They're the best defense in the league by far. Teams' identities change over the course of the season. The Bulls started out great, and they're kind of sliding now. Meanwhile, some of these other teams are getting healthy and getting better. You have to get hot at the right time.
Yeah.
The Bulls still have time to do that. There's almost 20 games left. They have time to get healthy. I think they'll be okay.
Peaks and valleys, man.
Speaking of that's okay, we put out a poll earlier today about the Bulls and playoff expectations from their fans. Before we do that, because it's going to be a fun conversation, Big Dave, tell the people how you can have some fun and make some money by playing on that little thing called PointsBet.
Oh, you know what? I know why you guys tune in. All right, you tune in for 3 reasons. One, the cool dulcet tones of that man, Matt Peck. All the amazing stats and the more incredible hair of that man, Will Gottlieb over here. And you want to hear about PointsBet. We know it. It's the best way to support CHGO, and it's download the PointsBet app and use that code CHGO when you sign up. PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. Now, we're most excited for PointsBet's new exclusive feature, Live NBA Same Game Parlay. Parlay Peck is happy. You know he is. For the first time ever, you can build the perfect live same game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. And if you want more, you can boost your live same game parlays, people. Come on now. And also, for people out there that are in Illinois, in the hometown, you can sign up online. No more going down there in the snow or in the heat, because those are the only 2 things that happen here in Chicago, snow and heat. You don't have to leave for none of that, y'all. You stay home and sign up online. You can download the PointsBet app today, register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Signing up is the fastest sportsbook. Is now easier than ever, and you can start living your bet life in seconds. Check out the link in the description below. Use the code CHGO, and that will get you 2 risk-free bets for $2,000. 2 G's, y'all. Come on, man. Now, once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet.
Bet life.
Do that. Do that.
Love
Show
listening to
bet
these
life.
ad reads.
Our pal Salim saying, great, Dave's going to make me gamble all my money away. Just can't say no to the genius level salesman. Hey, man, he's not going to make you gamble all your money away. He's going to help you gamble all your money into more money.
More money. Don't you want more?
You get free bets.
Especially with promo code CHGO.
2,000, baby. Get you 2 G's.
All right, you guys want to hear what I threw down for the first of the TNT
Do
leg
I?
tonight?
Parlay Peck.
Pelicans and Grizzlies.
Come on with it.
So I got a 5-leg parlay. I'm taking Grizz money line. I'm taking Kyle Anderson over 6.5 points. I'm taking McCollum 20+ points, Ja 25+ points, and Steven the Gigantor Adams over 10.5 rebounds. And that's plus 750 on the odds on that 5-leg parlay. And then on top of that, on the side, I had to, because he's your guy.
My man.
Ja Morant,
Yes, sir.
42.5 over points, rebounds, assists.
Ooh, you know I'm rolling with that.
I
man.
regretted not doing that with Giannis on Friday. I regretted not doing that with Embiid last night. I'm doing it with Ja tonight, y'all.
And I mean, Will said both of those things, that you should go ahead and put your money on that, because that was going to happen.
The problem is they're not playing the Bulls.
Although, especially if Brandon Ingram is a late scratch, you got to feel good about the Grizzlies winning that game.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And Ja Morant, you just bet Ja Morant, regardless. It's what
Bet
you
on
do.
Ja.
It's Ja, man. That's what he does.
All right, moving along to our next talking point. We put out this poll earlier today from our CHGO_Bulls Twitter account. Follow it if you aren't already, people. And the question is, I think, a fairly straightforward one. Where we are now, how far do you see the Bulls having to go for you to call this season, a successful one? 4 options. Just avoid the play-in and whatever happens, happens. A hard-fought first-round exit. So that means, no first-round sweep. The Bulls got to at least push a first-round series to 6 or 7 games, and you'd be okay with that. Second-round exit or make the conference finals. We've got a little over 800 votes now.
Nice.
And as you can see from the results, overwhelmingly, the winner with 58% of the vote is most Bulls fans think this team has got to reach the second round to consider this season a successful one. Behind that, hard-fought first-round exit with 18% of the vote. Conference finals, 13% of the vote. 11% of the vote, just avoid the play-in.
Yeah.
So the option that is the nicest option received the fewest amount of votes. And let me show you all my shocked face.
Peck shock face, baby.
Oh, hey, you just got a sneak peek at our next talking point, y'all. How do you
Look at
like
this
that?
face. Show him that shock face one more time, Matt. Oh, look at it. Drink that in with the double team shirt.
This is my shocked face about Bulls fans having wildly high expectations. I love you guys. I love you.
Yes,
You're a
you
little
are the
crazy,
best. You're
but
the
I
best.
love you.
I love it.
Guys, what do you think about these poll results?
It's so interesting because I have them going to the second round. That's why I had them, from the beginning, like kind of going to the second round.
Regardless of the first-round matchup?
Regardless of the first round matchup, I had them going to the second round. Because, again, in my head, they were playing a team that was going to be a lesser tier team that I'm like, yeah, they can beat that team and they can go to the second round. When they were doing it in the preseason and everything like that, I was like, just get to the playoffs. Go to the first round, we'll be fine. Once I saw it, the expectations went up. I'm like, yeah, give me the second round. But to consider it a success for me, it's already been a success for me, all right? Because of what I've seen, what I've had to deal with for the past 4 or 5 years. Do y'all not remember this foolishness? There's a reason. There's a reason I got to carry this neuralizer around, man. All right? Do you know what we had to deal with? Come on, man. No, we had some foolishness. We had to deal with. No, you know what? I almost went there. It almost got me. I'm not doing it. Not going there. But I know what we had to deal with. All right. So what I'm seeing now, like I said, knowing that this team hasn't had to deal with these long losing streaks, hasn't had to deal with incompetence, knowing that the basketball IQ is high, knowing that they actually know how many players need to be on the court at one time. That thing is perfect for me. No, I'm not watching people run into each other when they're trying to take game-winning shots. Like, I'm just excited to watch competent, good basketball. I have an MVP caliber kind of guy. Thank you. I did go there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Come on now. You can't.
I did.
The real he who must not be named.
You can't even reference Denzel without saying his name and not get neuralized for that.
That's fair. That's very fair. That's very fair.
G League sensation, Denzel Valentine.
Yes.
What up, Fred?
But yeah, man. But that's the success for me, is the fact that I'm enjoying watching the Bulls every single night. And every single night they have a chance to actually win a basketball game.
Save for maybe the last 5. But I think if you look at the standings too right now, I mean, they're 4.5 games out of the 1 seed, which I think at this point is, it would be difficult to make up that many games.
Yeah.
But they're also 4.5 games out of the play-in. So if they were to fall to the play-in when you have teams like the Cavs, who are also sliding, Ricky Rubio's out for the year, Jarrett Allen just broke his finger, I'm not sure which. They obviously brought in Karis LeVert, but I don't see them overtaking the Bulls, despite only being a game and a half back. And then the Raptors, I mean, I'm a huge Nick Nurse fan. Love what the Raptors do from a player development standpoint. Watching them in the finals, just have a ton of respect for everything about that organization. But, I mean, they're going 6 deep right now and playing Fred VanVleet 49 minutes a game. Right. It's just, I don't see them making up that much ground either. So if they fall to the play-in, I would be really surprised and disappointed about that.
Yeah.
I think, in terms of where they end up in the playoffs, I went between hard-fought first round and making it to the second round. Ultimately, I went with hard-fought first round because there are 5 really good teams in the playoffs.
Bingo.
And then there's the Nets, who maybe they're stuck in the play-in, and I imagine that they'll get out of that game. But there's a lot of good teams out east, and if they are super competitive and can build on something for next season when everybody's healthy, hopefully DeMar will be as good as he has been this year. I would be, obviously sad that they're not going further, but pretty happy with the results, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And it's largely going to be based on that first-round matchup, who they draw. And that might, for me, change a little bit how I feel about it. If the Bulls get what I deem to be a winnable matchup in round one, meaning like I come into it thinking that they are the favorites, whether it be home court or otherwise, I doubt right now that I would consider the Bulls a favorite as the team that's not the home court team in the first round.
Yeah, so what are the winnable matchups?
I mean, I think
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Boston, I would say, is winnable, but it's getting harder and harder to say that after what you have mentioned, the way that they've been playing recently.
True.
Right, like Boston's like, on any of these analytics sites, like they're the number one title favorite right now with some of the advanced metrics that
playing
they've
great.
had.
I mean,
they're playing great.
Brooklyn, crazy to say, is a
My
team
dream is for Brooklyn to get the 7th seed, win their play-in, and then have to play Philly in the first round.
Right.
The content would be great. The comedy would be great. But also, like, they're just going to throw knockout punches after knockout punch and go 7 games, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think you could also throw the Cavs out there as a team that you wouldn't feel terrible about in round one. Obviously not wishing injury upon anybody, but especially if they don't have a healthy Jarrett Allen
That's
come
huge.
playoff
Yeah.
time.
That's huge.
Because a lot of Bulls fans are saying, oh, the size with Cleveland. But I think, outside of that, like that's a winnable matchup. I think our pie in the sky first round matchup that Bulls fans are like, well, let's just root for Charlotte or Atlanta to win their play-in game, and then we'll get to play them in round one. I think those are off the table now.
Yeah,
because you're in that scenario needing the Bulls to finish with one of the top 2 seeds.
Yeah.
And that's not happening.
Yeah.
I think best case scenario is, and like you said, you hate to see injuries of any kind, but if they can get up to that 3 seed and play the Cavs in the first round, I would feel good about that. And that's a matchup where I would be, looking for them to win and be a little bit disappointed if they didn't come out of that first round.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would be disappointed if they couldn't beat Cleveland.
Right.
Yeah,
so
he's right.
While we are kind of talking about how maybe it's best to temper expectations, Bulls fans saying, hey, give me at least a second round to call this season a success.
That's crazy.
The flip side of that coin, Tori in the YouTube comments brings it up here, and I think it's a fair point that he makes. After having a taste of the first seed and DeRozan breaking these records with this season he's having, a first-round exit would hurt. I agree with that. If the Bulls get bounced in the first round, I am going to take it not well. Not well. Especially considering
You're going to have to stock the fridge with a bunch of beer.
No, actually, that's not the thing you want to do. Like, don't do that. No.
That's already preemptively happened, Will.
Yeah. Oh, my
the beer
goodness.
fridge is full, and there's some beer in the actual fridge.
Oh, sad drunk, Matt? I don't know if you want to see that, man. I don't know, man.
Honestly, though, between now and the first couple of games of their first round playoff series, it's happy drunk, Matt. Because I'm just gonna be happy that the Bulls are a freaking playoff team again.
That's very
like
true,
you said.
man. Yeah.
We've been through some shit, y'all. Jeez.
A lot of things have happened. I feel you on that as far as you feeling the disappointment. And honestly, I feel that that's courtesy and a credit to the Bulls, honestly, for setting those expectations now that high, just at how well they have been and how well they have played. Because I don't think coming into the season, a lot of people had those expectations. I know national pundits didn't have those expectations for the Chicago Bulls, man. But I think there were several fans who didn't feel like the Bulls would even be battling like they are right now, trying to get up to a 3 seed or do something like that. So, yeah, man, like I feel your disappointment, but for me, that just shows like just how good the Bulls have been and how much they've defied the expectations this season.
And again, it's all about how teams are playing recently. The Bulls right now, recently, their last 5 games obviously have not been playing well. Without Lonzo and Caruso, they've been almost the worst defense in the league. Meanwhile, like Joey's saying behind the camera here is that like the Celtics are playing out of their minds. You have teams like the Sixers who are just getting going with Harden and Embiid. So I think that plays into not only what these catch-all season prediction numbers are saying, but also just like the expectations moving forward. The Bulls had a great run at the beginning of the season. That was awesome. Set us up for success, banked a ton of wins, and effectively kept them out of the play-in tournament. Knock on some wood here. But, yeah, I mean, I think you also have to be able to reset those expectations when the team starts to not play as well and when other teams start to get hot.
Jay Guilty in the comments saying this season is already a success. So he agrees with you, Dave. Not having Matt Thomas play anymore. Bulls need to drop Matty Ice and sign. Oh, no.
See, you had him.
You had him like 80% of the way through that comment.
He had him and he was with him. And look at the
Shout
final
out to
thing.
C-Red Fred.
Here, let
right?
me finish it for you. You should drop Matty Ice and sign C-Red Fred. Oh, just watching Matt
Hey,
just
you know what? If they
in that
do,
car
it
crash
means
right
C-Red
there.
Fred will be too busy to spout his nonsense tweets that bug us Bulls fans that live in this world called reality.
I'm telling you, Joey, you're going to have to get a C-Red Fred counter up here. I'm telling you, man.
All right,
He
noted.
started it.
Okay.
The commenter started it. I didn't start it.
Oh man, dude. Like, yeah, I feel it's a success. It's just been fun. Like the joy. Like I haven't seen him this happy in the 3 years I've known him. Like remember that. Like, I've not seen him this happy about this team, man. In the 3 years I've known him.
It's crazy. The story of you two meeting, I just found out about it, was that you met at an audition for Bulls Outsiders.
Yes.
And I figured you guys were like childhood friends. Like you met when you were 4 years old.
That we get that a lot.
We get that a lot.
We get that a lot,
Which
man.
is funny because we are so different
Yes.
in a lot of ways.
Incredibly different in so many ways, man. But the same in a ton of ways.
Same.
Yeah.
Also, I
different.
think that if we were friends all the way back to childhood, we would no longer be friends now because I would have driven Dave away.
Oh, I
with
disagree.
all my cynicism and my negativity.
No.
I'm still
You
worried
guys
that
balance each
somewhere
other
down the
out.
line
It's a
that's
great-
going to happen. Dave, one day he's just going to be like, you know what, Matt? I've had enough of your shit. I'm
No.
outta here."
One of my greatest strengths and weaknesses is I'm very loyal. I'm a very loyal person, man. No, I'm rolling with Matt. And trust me, you're not the only friend I have like this, Matt. Trust me. I've got friends that are quite negative, can be negative sometimes. Shout out to my man Tone, Feast his family. What up, bro? But yeah, but I still love him, man. I've known Tone since grade school. So yeah, man. You in, Matt. You
It's-
good.
got
it's
nothing
very
to worry
kind.
about.
Nothing, man.
Big Dave is a great philanthropist. He does charity work, and that charity work is being friends with me. my
Thank you.
intolerable
Thank
self.
you. Thank you. I want my trophy.
All right, so I think if you make it out of the second round, make it out of the first round to the second round, this is me. I'm ecstatic, and I'm calling that a wild success of a season for the Bulls. If they get bounced in round one, yes, it will be devastating. It will be heart-wrenching, but I wouldn't consider it a failure, given everything that we've endured this season and given everything that this new regime endured and what they inherited.
Right. Let me ask you, with what you said, change if depending on the Bulls having home court advantage or not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the sense that I would be more disappointed
Right.
if they have home court in round one
Right.
and don't win that series. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
got you. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
If they don't have home court in round one, I will look at that series and say, Bulls are probably going to lose this series.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
the Bulls are 15 and
Bulls-
16 on the road.
Right. Somebody just mentioned, shout out to Torian in the comments mentioning that road record. The Bulls, compared to other teams with records well above 500 overall, have an awful record on the road.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're 24 and 10 at home, and a lot of that has to do with when guys like Cruz Alonso, Vooch missed like almost a month early on. Demar missed games, Zach missed games, so there's a lot of noise there. But yeah, I mean, if you can stay in those top 4 seeds and guarantee yourself home court in the first round, that would be ideal.
But, and also credit to Bulls fans. Like, I think this Bulls team's playing well at home because they have a really exciting electric atmosphere again.
You see, baby.
I mean, man, Dave, you and I have been to a bunch of games this season.
That's true.
Watching the roof blow off of that place after a big I mean, it was dead.
Dude, even when
A couple of seasons ago,
Coughing.
last season was no one was allowed
Right,
because COVID.
right.
Season prior to that, before COVID shut down the league, that Bulls stadium was not even 50% full.
No.
And that is why the Bulls were leading the NBA in attendance for 20 years.
It was. It's true.
30 years.
It's true. And it was dead. But even that Knicks game during Joakim Noah night, even though they took that loss, like it was electric in there, man, especially during that comeback in that fourth quarter. It was amazing. Wait, Joey, were you trying to do something, Jay?
I just want to say 37 Cycles, loving the live shows, and wants to know, how often we could be expecting these. So give him the good news.
Well, it's not quite the Beatles. It's not quite 8 days a week, but we're
5
give
days
you
a
5.
week, baby.
We're going to
Well
give
done.
you 5, baby.
Well,
Not 3, not 4, 5 days a week.
Not 6, not 7.
yes,
Oh,
we here, baby.
what a joke.
We are here, sir. We are here. So, yeah, get ready to enjoy some more of this wonderfulness, man. I'm glad you're here. Tell your friends. Follow us social media, all that good stuff.
Drop
man.
a like in the video, helps other people find the show. Another good question here, just about Billy's coaching, bringing up some past criticisms from his OKC days, and, too isolation heavy, too much hero ball. What do you guys think about that?
I had said to Matt when they got Billy Donovan, the issues I had with him, I wasn't concerned about because there were issues that had to deal with them being in the playoffs. And I'm like, that was way down the line, and I wasn't even going to worry
Bulls
about
are
that.
2 years away from being 2 years away.
You know what
to
I mean? Exactly. But my only issue I ever had with Billy Donovan was the rotations I would see him do at OKC. Like, he would just really kind of stick with that. Even if it wasn't working, even if you're like, no, I know you need to enter a bigger guy or a smaller guy at this point, whatever. He stuck with that lineup, and I saw them lose a lot of those series because of that reason. Maybe he's changed that now. Like I said, I haven't seen him be beholden to any lineup with the Chicago Bulls so far. But that dude is a damn good, incredible coach, man. Like, the way that, look at just how the improvement of the players on the team, you know what I mean? And not just the coaching either, but the entire vibe that he kind of presents for those players, man. He makes it comfortable for those guys to be there and to be their best self. Ayo is probably the best example of that.
His best quality is that he's a player's coach.
Yeah.
That shines through both in his ability to command the locker room. I mean, guys play hard for him. You've seen that every single year of his career, not just with the Bulls. But also he really adapts his system to the kind of players that he has around him. So you think back to the Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, SGA days with OKC. They were even playing Lou Dort at the 4 there. That's another super small lineup that maybe the Bulls replicate. He's also had seasons with Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, and Russell Westbrook. So I think he's a really creative, he has really creative ways to sort of get everybody on board. Maybe the X's and O's stuff isn't at the, Eric Spoelstra level. But yeah, I mean, you have 3 or 4 coaches at the top of the league where they're really adding, a handful of wins on in a playoff game or in, the regular season. Billy, I don't think is quite there, but I think he does a great job of just getting everybody on board. And then he's also put together a ton of good defenses. You see that a lot.
That's very true.
And hopefully we will see that again in the future when Lonzo and Caruso are back.
I think that's
so
a great
true.
point. He gets everyone on board, and he's a player's coach. This is a league where that matters. You got a guy like Zach LaVine. He's looking at free agency this offseason. This is, the NBA has shown you could be all good one day, and the next day your star player's asking for a trade. I think that's a huge quality for a team that's looking to have some continuity with their stars.
Yeah.
And the fact that, credit to Zach for maintaining professionalism throughout, I think we all know how he feels about his most recent coach before Billy. And I mean, and he talked about this coming into this season, that having Billy back-to-back here, the first time in his NBA career he's going to have the same head coach for 2 full seasons
That's so
consecutively.
wild.
So wild.
That's
This is his
wild.
7th year in the NBA.
That's wild. It's like I heard that and I was like, oh my God, Jay Cutler and offensive coordinators. It's the same nightmare all over again. Wake me from this hell.
Shh. It's all right, Matt. Sun's going down, big fella.
Where's my blankie, Dave? Where's my blankie?
This is his
My
8th
blankie's
season
getting
in
like
the
a
NBA.
beer bottle.
It's getting dark,
I
big
need it.
fella. It's all right. It's all right, man. It's all right. But yeah, man, I feel, man, Zach's been through a lot, but that's why I talk about it a lot. This team is learning so many new things. And I mean, so many new positive things. They know how to be bad. They know what losing is. They know what this stuff feels like.
And
All
that's
this
why-
winning, all this success, all this love is brand new to them, man.
That's why Zach has been really impressive to me this year, is that he's taken sort of a backseat to Demar, and he's always wanted to be that guy. And, to have the self-awareness of I want to be that guy, but my teams are in the 20s and 30s and wins every
Right,
year.
exactly.
So we're going to bring in somebody who can, compliment me. And what does that mean? Taking a lot of the ball handling responsibilities, the late game, decision making out of his hands. And it's benefited the Bulls. So credit to Zach, credit to
Absolutely.
Billy for being able to make sure that top down this thing is in line, and they're gonna get there. There has been progress.
Jay Kelly says, "Get that man his damn blankie."
I need it. I need it. A blankie or a beer.
Wait, what was the Avengers reference that I missed?
Oh, they heard it. Good job, guys. Way to catch that. I knew Matt wasn't gonna catch that, but way to catch that. That's what they tell the Hawk when he's hawking up.
What'd you say?
I said, the sun's getting low, big fella. It's getting dark out there.
That's the secret for Matt. He's always angry.
Yeah, exactly. Well done. Well done. Clap that up for Joey right there. Well done. Well done. Well done.
All right, guys. Moving along. Other injury update that we did get, in addition to the stuff earlier today about Caruso, Lonzo, B-Dub, we got yet another questionable tag for Vooch earlier today for the game against the Pistons tomorrow. Tristan Thompson has now played 6 games with the Bulls. We could be looking at another Tristan start at center tomorrow night if Vooch is out again. Will, I know that we can preface this with small sample size at 6 games, but for all of those Bulls fans hoping that Tristan would be this team's savior on the buyout market, his numbers are bad, but the Bulls numbers, the Bulls on-off numbers for Tristan are even worse when he's off the floor than when he's on the floor. I think the story is Tristan came on board, the Bulls got a win against Atlanta, and then played a bunch of really good teams and lost all of them.
Exactly.
Ding.
Schedule has a ton to do with it.
Yeah.
And we saw the Tristan and Vooch lineup. Mark Karanzilis wrote a great piece for us on the website about it. You should go check it out.
Absolutely.
Tristan is like a fine backup 5 at this point.
That's it.
And the Bulls have much bigger issues right now than who is their backup 5. I think the Derek Jones Jr. at backup 5 is an interesting little wrinkle they could go to. I might write something about that. Just trying to change up the activity, space the floor a little bit, attack off the bounce. Tristan provides offensive rebounding. He's a fine screener, and he can make that little floater despite that warm-up video when he missed 6 in a row.
Yeah.
I feel like he's hit every single floater since doing that.
When he was using the boozer shot from 3 feet out, where he's let me see if I can just nick one of the rafters, or one of the banners in the rafters before this goes back down.
Yeah, it's been interesting, man. I hate that word savior. You know what I'm saying? That I've heard it a lot this season for Bulls and certain players like Patrick Williams and him. Your savior is never in the form of a backup center.
Yes.
Okay? Never, ever, ever, ever.
It's 2022, guys.
You know what I'm saying? Right? In 92, in 82, it's never your backup center. You know what I'm saying? That's never the case.
Yeah, Salim with a great
I don't know,
point
man.
here.
Brian Williams, a.k.a. Bison DeLay, 97 title run.
Yeah.
That is a savior of a backup center.
Yeah, but I still have Michael Jordan. That's the savior. You know what I'm saying? He was help.
Bulls don't win that title without him, man.
I agree, but he was help. It wasn't saving us. You know what I'm saying? It was help. Like, oh man, that really helps us at the center position. No, the savior is the dude that's dropping 30. That's your savior right there.
It's the dude who's hitting game winners.
Yes, correct. Correct. That's your savior. And then Pippen that goes with that, you know what I'm saying, and on down the line. But no, shout out Bison there. He was huge for the Bulls. Colossal for them, man. And they don't win that without him. He definitely was part of that helping. But Tristan Thompson is exactly what I thought he was going to be so far. Like, he's coming in, done everything I thought he was going to do. He's being a backup center who's better than Tony Bradley. And Tony Bradley was just so bad in the last game against Embiid. Embiid, mind you. They said, you know what, we're going to go with Derek Jones Jr. over you. You're 7 feet tall and huge. They still were like, nah, we got this. Let's try something else right here. No, man, he's been better than that. And that's all I really needed him to be, right? It was better than Tony Bradley, where I could say, dude, take a seat. I got somebody else right here.
Our pal Salim said the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah. It's an upgrade to your previous backup center who was not giving you a whole lot.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
What do you think, Will? Did you say you might be writing something about that with DJJ and maybe some more minutes as a backup small ball 5? Because we saw Billy go to that earlier on this season.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good.
Looked pretty solid.
It's got, it can be used at times. Like you said, probably not going to work against Joel Embiid. They're got like a 6'5" guy trying to front Embiid in the post. It's not really going to happen. But, just in terms of what he can provide as a role man, I thought early on in the season he had some good moments passing the ball. He last night had a play where he kind of floated out to the corner and brought Embiid with him, which cleared out the paint. He ended up getting the ball and then just blowing right by him. So I think it provides some matchup, some interesting matchup, flexibility, but it's certainly not going to be something that they go to, 36 minutes a game. And that's where Vooch has to really be who Vooch is supposed to be for the Bulls to get where they want to go.
All right, guys, with like the last 10 or so minutes we got before we get out of here, the last thing we wanted to touch on was just taking a quick peek at the Detroit Pistons, the Bulls' next opponent tomorrow night, and what they have been up to lately. Check this out. The Pistons have been playing pretty well out of the All-Star break. They're actually 6-4 in their last 10, which is better than the Bulls have done. But check this out. Out of the All-Star break, they're 5-2. Which is the tie for the fourth best record in the NBA compared to their 28th overall record in the NBA this season. You look at points per game, opponents' points per game, big jumps in each of those categories. Same thing with offensive and defensive rating. Net rating has gone from -9 almost all the way back to even in this stretch of 7 games out of the All-Star break. And then one key for me when you look at what the Pistons have done in this recent stretch of quality play, they're right around where they've been all season with free throw attempts and rate. They're right around where they've been all season with 3-point attempt rate and 3-point attempt success. They are taking care of the basketball. They are overall the 22nd ranked team in the NBA as far as turnovers per game at 14.4. You see there in this stretch of 7 games, they've whittled that down to 12.7, top 10 rating in taking care of the basketball. And with that, you have also seen them get up more shots in this stretch of games. That's another thing that the Pistons have done well all season long as a team is crash the offensive glass.
Yeah.
You know who that spells trouble for? This Bulls team that has an issue with their opponents crashing the offensive glass.
Yeah, and shout out to Marvin Bagley also. He's definitely been a help for them since he's gotten over there. I've always liked him. I don't know why.
Talk about a forgotten name.
Yeah, man. I don't know why it didn't work in Sacramento, but a lot of things don't work in Sacramento, but it just hasn't been. Go ahead, Joe. You got one?
Yeah, I was going to say, Matt, you want to give us the I think it's you. You want to give us PointsBet pick of the week?
Ooh.
Pick of the week.
PointsBet pick of the week.
Was it my jaw one? Was it my
like
jaw
that,
one?
Cody?
Yeah,
Cody
yes,
like
it
that
was.
one? You like that one, Cody?
like that
Cody
one.
felt
Yes,
me.
it was,
You
Matt.
felt me.
Yeah, my Ja Morant. The 43.5.
That is what he said.
Rebounds
Yes.
and assists.
Yes.
That is my PointsBet pick of the week, baby.
Yep, PointsBet, sign up, code CHGO. Obviously, while we're on CHGO, take a visit to the website, allchgo.com, subscribe. I believe the sign up right now gets you some dope merch. Shout out to Luke
Free
Stuckmeyer.
CHGO t-shirt of your choice.
Yes.
You get access to the Discord, to the members lounge, so a ton of perks that come, some good access to the talent, and just a dope sign-up option.
Everybody likes dope. I like the fact dope is said a lot by you right now.
Yeah, for lack of a better term.
Yes. It's an awesome term to use.
Stuckmeyer is really making sure that
Oh, is that what he's about? He's about that dopeness? Well, Luke's
about the
that
dope
dopeness,
merch.
man. Stucky's about that.
You also got to feel good putting some money on the Bulls tomorrow night, right?
I do. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about.
hope so, man.
I don't know about covering. I'm sure that they're probably going to be slight favorites against Detroit,
Right.
even though that the game is in Detroit. Again, this is a Pistons team with 18 wins, but they've been playing well recently, as we just saw in that graphic, and the Bulls have not. The Bulls are coming in on a five-game skid. I'll take Bulls money line tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll take them to cover.
This kind of screams trap game for me. Like
Ooh,
you're coming off
A trap game is
5
when-
losses,
5 losses.
and
We've
then
been
you've got
trapped.
like one of the worst 3 teams in the league, and you think maybe it's just gonna be okay.
So it feels like that
So
Magic game to you? Like that
They
Orlando?
gotta come out strong. Like
Okay.
you can't mess around with any of these teams anymore. And it's March. April's coming up. Playoffs are coming up.
Yeah.
You're fighting for position here. You can't just like waltz into any of these games at this point. So assuming they come in with the right mentality, and again, we're talking about Billy Donovan and his ability to get these guys playing the right way. Hopefully it's not a problem, but I just don't want anything
I hear you.
tricky coming
I
in
hear
tomorrow.
you, man. I think that fire has kind of been lit under them, though. That time we saw DeMar DeRozan tearing apart towels. You know what I'm saying? During
He
the
literally
timeout, man.
went
Yeah.
Hulk.
Yeah, he went full Hulk. You know what I
literally
mean?
did it.
They are not a happy team right now. But real quick about the Pistons, being 6-4, in their last 10.
Yeah.
You look at the teams that they beat. They beat Boston, Charlotte, Cleveland, Toronto, the Pacers, and the Hawks. everybody outside of the Pacers, is a team that's trying, vying for the playoffs,
Right.
and vying for position. But then it's funny because you look at the losses: Boston, Charlotte, and Washington. They lost to Washington 2 times. And so they play, and all these teams are also in their conference. That's the other big thing. These are Eastern Conference opponents.
The Central Division in the next.
Woo! It's
Cade,
going, boy.
Mobley,
Come on.
Giannis, Halliburton, stuff out there.
It's nice, man. It's nice. They got some real nice things happening in the Central Division, man. I'm just happy the Bulls are a part of that and might be one of the best teams going.
And
That's a good thing.
Cunningham and Saddiq Bey, we could talk about this more at length when we do pregame tomorrow night. But they've both improved their play in this stretch of games out of the All-Star break. Cunningham's upped his points per game from 15.5 to 21.5. Upped his shooting from 39 to 43. And Saddiq Bey, same thing. He's upped his scoring points per game by almost 2. And big jumps in his shooting percentages, 39 to 45, and from 35 up to 37 behind the three-point line. Saddiq Bey's offensive rating at post All-Star break is up to 120 compared to 107.
Yeah,
Look at Peck bringing in the stats.
That's what he do,
You love
man.
to see it.
You see
Numbers, baby.
You love to see it.
Love to see it.
I'm a big Isaiah Stewart guy too.
He's Stu.
He's nice. I
Yeah,
think
man.
he had a kind of tough first half of the season.
He did.
Didn't play the way that I think people expected, but he's active. He's aggressive. Obviously, he had that whole thing with LeBron.
He's
Yeah.
goon level,
Dude.
baby.
He's a goon.
Level.
When that happened,
love
I
it.
was like, get that guy on my team.
right, exactly.
Get that guy on my
exactly.
team.
He is
But
perfect.
he's
for
a
the
good
Pistons.
player too. I think he
Yes.
can pass a little bit. He can rebound. The shooting is a work in progress, but he's willing to take shots. So he's a nice player.
Reminds me like a Charles Oakley kind of. That's kind
Okay.
of what he reminds me of. And Oakley is a guy who didn't have that jump shot early on either. He had to get that later on, especially when he went
A
to the
modern
Knicks.
Oakley. I like it.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Especially the goon qualities too.
Big goon energy.
Big goon. Your name is Beef Stew, man. That is the
Beef
best.
Stew.
That is the best name, man.
Honestly, I think even Isaiah Stewart is a great name for an NBA player, but it's one of those instances where the nickname is even better than the actual name, which is
true.
also really good.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, we got a comment. People are comparing your mustache pack to Ron Burgundy.
Oh, wow.
I think that's got to be a big deal for you, reference guys. Gonna
Not
maybe
even
say,
mad.
break out an impression here for us, or, one-liner.
Whole wheel of cheese.
Baxter, I don't speak Spanish. You
He's
pooped
got
in the
him.
refrigerator.
He just had it.
He's
in
got
the
him on
bag.
deck.
You ate the
He's got
entire
him on
wheel of
deck.
cheese? I'm not even mad. That's amazing.
Wait.
So wise. Like a miniature Buddha. Covered in hair.
Wait, let's
He's
judge
just
it now. Now,
reciting
Cody,
the-
on 1 to 10, Cody, what's that?
Oh,
That's an 8, a solid 8.
Off
All
the
right.
cuff?
A
Wasn't even
solid 8.
prepared.
That's all right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Give
And
this
I
man
need
some
all of
scotch.
you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
And scene. Joe,
Close.
how your headphones, Joey?
I'm deaf now.
Yeah, I'm about to say. How your headphones?
This burrito is good, but it is so filling.
Shout out Jack Black.
Glass case
Best
of
cameo
emotion.
ever.
Oh, man.
All right, let's get out of here. You know why we got to get out of here? Because we got a TNT doubleheader to go watch tonight, guys.
Yeah!
We got his boy John Morant and the Grizz taking on the Pelicans, and then we got Clips Warriors on deck late night. I'm throwing more PointsBet action down on that.
And you should, too.
One last reminder, y'all. Online sign-up available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now. Register your account from start to finish, all on your phone. And don't forget that promo code, CHGO. So, until next time, we'll see you Pistons Bulls pregame tomorrow night. Follow us on Twitter, CHGO_Bulls, Bulls_Peck, Bow, BAWL Sports, @Won't Gottlieb. For Joey and our team here at CHGO, for Will, for Big Dave, I'm Matt. See Red be good. Appreciate you, Bulls Nation.